It's crazy how life has opened up since I stopped pretending like I'm like a fucking victim.
If you come here and want to fight me on fat people aren't oppressed.
Well, bitch.
Hey, welcome or welcome back. My name is Nadia. Today, we're going to talk about hypocrisy and fat acceptance. See how I keep the intro short and sweet?
Very demure, very mindful.
If you are not on TikTok, then maybe that intro sounded weird, but demure is taking over TikTok right now.
You see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful. I don't come to work with a green cut crease. Very considerate, very approachable, very demure.
Dr. Phil Primetime is very demure, very mindful.
Demure is more than words.
I actually just wrote an entire story about what demure is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's being mindful, it's being cutesy, but at the same time, you can be the exact opposite of that because it's sort of satirical.
Nah, it's just a TikTok trend, a very viral one though, and the creator, Jools Lebron, is probably the most popular person on the platform for the moment, and that includes with fat acceptance activists.
Notice how when I want to stuff my face like I haven't eaten in 10 days, I do it in the privacy of my own home. Very demure, very mindful.
See how I'm a registered dietitian that doesn't give you food rules or comment on your body? I don't restrict your calories. I don't tell you that there's foods that you can't eat. Very mindful, very demure.
I'm not like you other girls, complimenting people on their weight loss. You see how I enjoy foods and don't call myself a big back. Very demure.
See how I use my blinker when I merge? Very demure.
They love her right along with the rest of the internet right now. And my own personal opinion is that her good-natured content is actually doing more good for plus-sized people than probably the entire last 4 years of their complaining. And by there, I mean fat acceptance. But I came across a very recent TikTok from Jools that reminded me of something that I had seen before.
A brand not making your size in something does not give you grounds to talk shit.
The Leo Skepi video that basically got him canceled. Jools has an almost identical video up, and it's from the last few weeks, but where he got lambasted across the platform and beyond, she is being showered with praise.
Clock that tea though. Okay, so recently I stopped victimizing myself, and it's crazy how life has opened up since I stopped pretending like I'm like a fucking victim.
Jools is replying to a comment that says, literally unblocked you to watch all these videos. This content is so much better than watching you complain about brand deals. Pave your own pathway. I love someone who can take negative feedback like this. She is laughing at it, but she is also going to engage with it in good faith.
Like, since I pretend like the world's against me, bitch, sometimes you're the fucking problem. Like, honestly, for me, I felt very like unheard throughout like most of my childhood, and I felt like my parents like invalidated a lot of my feelings, and that made me turn into a loud ass complainer. Anytime anything happened to me or anytime I perceived something, I perceived it as it was like the worst thing that ever happened to me, or like it was only happening to me. Like other people don't be going through the same shit.
I like that here she's explaining where she thinks her past behavior emerged, but she's not saying, thus it's okay for me to perpetually victimize myself.
You know what I mean? Like, especially like, you know, being trans, being plus size, it was just so easy for me to be like, no, like brands don't want to work with me because like I'm big, and brands don't like want to work with me because I'm trans. Maybe brands don't want to work with you because you're f***ing messy and you don't post consistent content or quality content most of the time. Maybe that's the reason, babe. Maybe it's because you come on this complaining all the goddamn time about brands, and then you put brands on the spot, and then you wonder, why don't brands want to work with me? Well, bitch.
She is freaking hilarious. The logic is spot on, and the accountability is articulated so well. It's just really refreshing to see, in my opinion.
Well, bitch. And ever since I shut the f*** up and I looked at myself and I said, you're acting like a victim. You think you're owed something because you got a few followers? People are dying. like people are literally dying. You know what I mean? Like, get it together. And you know what's crazy? Ever since I've like took more responsibility and stopped acting like a fucking kid, got a full-time job, got my own apartment, brand deals coming in, started losing weight, started having better skin, started feeling better, started getting more confident. like when you just say, hey, you know what? Sometimes I'm a piece of shit and I need to fix it, then you can actually fix it. But when you come up on here all the time talking about like, oh my God, and this happened to me, and then oh my God, like that happened to me, and then oh my God, like no, and then this brand doesn't. Girl, the world don't owe you. If you don't get up off your ass and make some work for you.
So that masterpiece has been viewed over 1 million times, thousands of likes, and thousands of comments. And they are all really positive. Comments like, not taking things personally is a game changer. Self-reflection is very demure, very mindful. The self-awareness is very demure. We love a self-aware queen. I love the way you clock your own tea. And not one fat acceptance activist, at least that I have seen, has come out to stitch this to call her a monster.
With all due respect, sometimes no respect is due.
Which I think is really interesting because this just sounds so similar to the take that Leo Skepi gave about brands and clothing sizes.
A key point here, if my focus is nothing but stuck on the brands that don't make my size, I'm gonna feel nothing but frustrated, irritated, singled out, and pissed off. That's a waste of your energy. Being a human being is a very valuable experience and it's a very precious thing. Don't waste your time on not for you. Don't let useless nonsense irritate you.
What he said in that TikTok is, in my opinion, exactly what Jools said in her TikTok. They just said it a little bit differently. The next piece of this is, I think, the only part that Fat Acceptance heard, or really the only thing that seemed to matter in all of what he said.
Not everybody needs to be catered to by everything and everyone. And this is a lesson I had to learn when I used to think clothes just weren't flattering. No, babe, the body wasn't flattering. But a lot of brands don't make my size and a lot of shit still. And if a piece of clothing is not flattering on you, it doesn't mean the item or product is not flattering or is not good. It's not made for you.
I personally wish he had left this out, not because it's so horrible or so unkind, but because it completely detracted and distracted people from everything else that he said. They reduced all of it to, so you just hate fat people? You just think we don't deserve nice things?
Basically said in his video to shut your mouth, do not complain, hit that treadmill, and close your mouth.
What I was trying to say is that if you are fat, you don't deserve nice things. That's not fat phobic.
I wish I could read through the comments on that video, but he got so much backlash that he actually deleted it, which I guess says more than any comment really could. But what he was saying is exactly what Jools is saying. Stop focusing on victimizing yourself and looking for all the ways that life is unfair to you, and instead start participating in your own future.
It's crazy how life has opened up since I stopped pretending like I'm like a victim.
And it's not like I have a vested interest in people liking this guy. I don't even know who he is. It's just really hard for me to ignore the inconsistency, especially because Jools is also on a weight loss journey right now, and she's talking about it, and she's proud of her weight loss, which we know Fat Acceptance usually hates.
Ladies, be mindful of why you went to the gym. Be mindful that your progress might be slow, and if you're a super fat, after a few months you might just be a normal fat. I'm very mindful on my weight loss journey. I'm not trying to push it down everyone's throats. I'm very mindful of why I'm on the internet.
She even has a video up encouraging girls not to eat their whole meal at the same time.
Ladies, remember, it is never demure to eat all of your food at once. You see me, I'm very demure. I save my baked potato for later. I save my little salmon for later. I do my rice. Remember, ladies, eating the whole plate is not mindful.
I mean, I would have expected Fat Acceptance to be all over that. I think if anyone else made that kind of TikTok, they would be.
I think the very important piece here is a white, thin person. I don't know how Leo identifies, but it seems like gives really high masculine energy in many ways. does not get to tell oppressed groups in society what they are able to complain about or not.
I do think that is an important aspect here and why they got treated so different for basically saying the same thing. Even his own friends came out to try to make it about that as well, when really this had nothing to do with anything he said.
Stop blaming women of color for things that white people do on their own. They did that with their own brain and their own thoughts.
Fat phobia is rampant. It's not shocking when people are fat phobic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gagged. I'm not surprised that he said that. Like, what that just is rooted into society. I don't know what you guys want me to do. Stop trying to force black women and POC women to stay in the front lines when white men say
He has a look that is associated with a lot of privilege, to use TikTok's favorite word. When the sport is the victim Olympics, oppression is how you get the gold and the admiration.
And if you come here and want to fight me on fat people aren't oppressed, okay? Fat people are choosing to be fat. No, fat people, whether they choose to be fat or not, are being oppressed. I'm not even going to argue with somebody who says that fat people are not oppressed or harmed by systems of oppression.
And privilege is how you get disqualified and booed off stage. I just think it's pretty bold for a group of people who will say things like, you can't look at me and tell how healthy I am, but they will look at someone and decide how valuable or how offensive that person's commentary or worldview is, just based off of what they look like. At least that's my opinion. I would really like to hear yours. Why do you think people engaged with this content so differently? If you think I am way off, I definitely want to hear about it. I'm going to call this one here for today. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end if you're still here with me. I really do appreciate this platform, and I really do appreciate you tuning in, being here, and having these conversations with me. So thank you so much. Everybody, please take care. I'll have another video up soon.